Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Sage versus MMA. This is not, well, this is all technically part of a series, but it is not part of like a best of three. This is more of a clan war, and rather than trying to go through an entire clan war, I'm just picking and choosing games that I think will be entertaining. So we have Sage spawning as the red Protoss on the top left-hand side of the map, known as Barcode Man. Meanwhile, we have MMA spawning as the blue Terran player on the bottom right. So Terran versus Protoss, MMA versus Sage, two very well-known players, and I am interested to see what style and what strategies will we be seeing from this player, as we now already see a very early SCV making his way out, and I don't know if that was on purpose or on accident, but is he actually gonna try to go for a proxy barracks? Alright, a proxy rack's not one of those strategies that you see all too often coming in from a Terran player, especially against a Protoss. Sometimes you'll see it against a Zerg, and I am curious to know what MMA's plan and follow-up will be. Let's look at it. Yes, it is going to be a proxy barracks right here next to the destructible rock tower. And with that, I don't believe that Sage is going to spot this. Now, the probe is wandering around a bit. The probe has not done any scouting. And we already see, yes, it is going to be a refinery. So this is a proxy racks into an early Reaper pressure. So that Reaper will get there ever so much faster, and because of the walking time being lost, that Reaper will be able to start harassing much more quickly. Now Sage is actually opening up with a double assimilator right behind this, which means that he is not going to go for expansion, but what this also means that he is going to be perhaps trying to go for an earlier mothership core, which would shut down the Reaper, but the Reaper should get trained up in just a second. Here you can see 45 seconds for it to get done. A Cybernetics core has not even been started. There we go, now getting started here. And if, as long as Sage goes for a faster mothership core, he should be fine. If he does not go for a fast mothership core, he is going to be in a world of hurt, as that Reaper is pretty much going to go unchallenged. The Zealot is not going to be able to take it down. Meanwhile, the Stalker and the Sentry, which is the only two range units other than the mothership core, is not going to come out in time. You can see one Reaper already on the move. There you go. The Reaper is already making its way out. And, oh, it's going to catch this probe there. That probe is in a very, very sad position as it's just freezing, and now will get picked off. There it goes. One Reaper already down. There's that mothership core, and MMA, who was trying to do a little bit of a tricky maneuver, and the mothership core actually comes out fairly quickly. All right, that one Reaper trying to go after some units, and now we can see a bit of a surround there. That Reaper not going to be altogether that successful, as the mothership core will be popping out here in just a moment, and as long as the mothership, nope, it actually moves in the wrong direction, and the Reaper and the Stalker, or the Zealot now, and the Reapers are just going to simply be regrouping off here. Alright, this Zealot has to be careful though. It does have shield, so it can regenerate that way. Are we going into more Reapers? No, it looks as though it's going to be a liftoff, as the Zealot and the Mothership Core is in position. Oh, the Reapers are going to be forced to back off. If the Stalker had allowed the Reaper to jump up and then back down, that would have been much, much better. Alright, the Reapers now simply returning back home, only to see MMA follow it up with a proxy factory. Alright, so proxy factory coming in. Are we going to perhaps see a reactor, or are we just going to be training up Widow Mines and then walking them straight up inside of the base? Or we could be going for Hellions as well. No, it is going to be proxy Widow Mines, as all the units are already pushing out across the map against MMA. You can see that barracks is taking a bit of damage. The front door does have Marines in a bunker, but the sight up onto the high ground will make it rather difficult, as the Stalker will be able to shoot down the supply depot, in addition to the mothership core shooting down the supply depot as well, without taking any real damage. Here we go, the Marines now making their way over the mothership core. It has to be careful. What is it doing? Oh, it's going to try to engage. There is the time warp, and there goes one Marine, as the other Marines are trying to chase it. It is not going to be able to catch up. but that was not a smart use of energy on that mothership core. Meanwhile, a Whittle or Reaper now looking to push in. Is it going to be able to do anything? Is now able to run by. No, quickly gets taken down. There is a Whittle mine down here now, and are more Whittle mines going to be trained? There is one SCV off there. Oh, the Stalker takes a shot in the face. It gets cleared, and now Sage realizes that he needs to get that robotics facility up and in a hurry. Coming back around, you can see some damage was dealt here, but not going to be enough to really write home about, as the Widow Mine going to reposition itself. And if it repositions itself in a very good location, I don't know what's going to be happening. All right, so the Widow Mine is going to reposition itself down off over here. Is it within the sight range? No, I do not believe so. If Sage was paying attention, he may have actually saw that one Widow Mine route. Just burrow itself there, as now the factory is backing off. All right, double proxy only to lift off the buildings, and now you can see that the observer is nearby. It's looking for the Widow Mine. It is going to in fact spot it, and there it is. You can see the damage is being dealt. The Widow Mine has nowhere to run, and down it goes. Widow Mines have 90 hit points, so they are rather durable units. For what they are now essentially giant speed bumps until observers are out on the field. All right, there is another Widow Mine, and all the units are just going to stand from the outside, looking in and shoot it down once more. And what is happening next? One SCV sitting next to a Zelnaga tower going, you know what? I'm just one SCV. What are you going to do? All right, drop now happening inside the main base. And it looks like the pylon may get taken down. The medevac pilot going back for the last man. Leave no man behind, as he will just simply run on out of there. Let's take a look. Front door does have a bunker. MMA now transitioning back into a much more traditional build. It looks like he will be going for bio, 3 barracks, and 1 starport with a reactor. Factory still very, very far out, and I like this play by MMA. MMA, realizing that he's going to be going into bio, opted to move have proxy Widow Mines, since he needs the factory anyways. And then once the factory is no longer useful, he just pulls it back instead of pushes it forward in order to have another set of eyes and ears on the battlefield. Now, we are looking into Sage. He is going into double forge and a robotics bay. This does indicate to me Colossi. If anyone knows the game, yes, it is definitely going to be Colossi. But the question will be, will MMA have Vikings up in time? Those Vikings do definitely outrange those Colossi. Stalkers end up getting a bit too close. And by getting too close to those Vikings, the Marines and the Marauders can deal a lot of damage as well. So far, Marines down over here at the third or fourth base, depending on what Sage does try to take. Meanwhile, off over here, it looks as though that expansion is not being taken. The medevac pilot looking for a place to drop off the boys. And, oh, one Marine just simply running inside here, and he gets taken down. A very, very large group of units, and I'm not quite sure I understand what MMA was trying to do there. Perhaps just trying to scout out, see how much gas has been harvested, and to figure out what exactly his opponent could be building and what he could have. All right, making things a little bit more protected. Taking down these destructible rocks, the destructible rock tower. Now that the rock tower is down, it will buy a couple seconds of stoppage if the main gateway units try to come in through this location here. Now, 2 medevacs trying to make a move. Are they going to be able to do anything of significance? That will be a key question, as we now see the main zealot, or the main army, just sitting at the third base. Sage is playing this very safe. He doesn't want to lose any units needlessly at this point. And still, all at this time, I don't see another command center. No, command center now being built there. We can see double medevacs off here. There is one observer. Does it spot this? And, oh, no, it does not spot all of those units. So this drop could come in and deal a ton of harassment damage. Colossi now making their way over. Is this medevac going to find its way through? It looks as though it is just simply sitting there right next to the observer, now revealing itself. And that was not a smart move at all, as we now see what the medevacs losing a couple of Marines. Another Marine goes down there. And now in comes here. And All right, so apparently two people actually messaging me at the same time, Frozen Shadow and Dr. Thunder. I'm on busy. How is those messages actually popping up when it says I'm on busy? Ugh. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look. Medevacs will be dropping here, and what's going to be happening? Marines and Marauders trying to clean up. That's not looking good. A Medevac does get shot down. MMA in trouble. Meanwhile, another drop happening off to the north, and MMA is simply just falling apart to Sage's very strong defense. Yeah, just falling apart to his strong defense so far. And now that we are getting Vikings, MMA needs to deal a lot of damage to those Colossi. Let's take a look. We are on a 3 base for Sage. Meanwhile, 2 bases, soon to be 3 for MMA, as he is getting his SCVs transferred over. The problem will be whether or not Sage has slowed down MMA enough. MMA with, I believe, the smaller army in terms of tech, only a couple of Vikings, Marines, and Marauders on the ground, and MMA has currently sitting on 1-1 upgrades. Meanwhile, 2-2 upgrades already started and more than halfway done, as we are just about halfway done on the armory, so it will be quite some time before even 2-2 is started for Terran. If Sage can find a very good timing, he can just move out and take down this bio-infantry army with 2-2 upgrades compared to 1-1 upgrades. He will have to be careful, though. There is a decent number of Vikings out in the air, and with all of those Vikings, those Vikings could essentially two-shot any Colossus that runs into the field. We can see 3 Colossi are on the field with the 4th one on the way. Extended thermal lance range, was not started earlier. That could have been a huge problem, not starting the extended thermal lance range, so the Colossi will not be ready, and that could be the mistake to actually haunt Sage if he loses this game. Not having the extended thermal lance range means that he's delaying his attack, meaning that he's not going to have nearly as large of a window with armor and weapons advantage. It is not being chrono boosted at this time. Apparently he doesn't realize how significant the every 10 seconds is on this robotics bay. In order to get that extended thermal lance range, you can see High Templars and Immortals now being added as well, as we are now sitting on fairly even armies. Let's take a look at the losses. MMA has lost more, but it is pretty much inconsequential now. But we are seeing on 73 SCVs versus 64 probes. So MMA does have the superior economy, as you can see. Marauders and Marines quickly take down a proxy pylon. We'll see what the follow-up play will be next. Stalkers do have blink. They will be able to get underneath those Vikings if they do so choose, as more and more Zealots now simply running away from this Marauder death squad. If you're a building, I'm sorry, but you're going to get taken down. Zealots now getting cleaned up over here on the ramp. Down it goes. You can see the main Stalker attack force isn't going to be able to do anything of significance. No, it is not. Just backing away again. And now perhaps going to position themselves somewhere over here. Okay, Sage now looking to place a proxy pylon in the middle of the field. New expansions coming in from MMA. So he is establishing up his 4th base and also getting up a 5th command center as well. Vikings, all right, this is going to be the just perfect engagement. Zealots, Colossi. Are we going to see enough damage here? The Marauders and the Marines are in pretty good position. The Stalkers need to perhaps blink up on the high ground in order to deal enough damage here. The Colossi are simply all falling. And what is going on? MMA, has he dealt enough to the actual bio-infantry? It looks like it has done a lot. More Zealots are now reinforcing. Meanwhile, back down over here, you can see the Marauders and the Marines are still stimming and now pulling back. Will the Stalkers be able to blink forward and get more Viking kills? It doesn't look like it. And Sage coming out ahead in that battle, but MMA not doing nearly as bad as I thought that battle could have gone. MMA now dealing with Stalkers all inside the main base. SCV now going to get taken down. Zealots up in the front door, and they are going to start walking in on those supply depots, meaning that they cannot raise it. Marauders and the Marines are fighting back. The Stalkers are still dealing a lot of damage here, as the pylon now looking to warp in. All right, how many units are going to be able to engage at a time? This is all so strategic, as the Zealots and Stalkers still fighting it out inside the main base. MMA is in trouble. He's down to 135 supplies. Stalkers now blinking forward. Marauders and the Marines fighting back. And as the SCVs are getting pulled off, Sage is doing such a great job here. Superior upgrades, I believe, at this point. No, upgrades are even, and we are now even getting even higher upgrades for the Terran infantry, but it may be too little, too late. Archons, even though all the Colossi are down, are we perhaps going to see Psystorm? No, Psystorm is not even researched yet, so we could be just going into Zealot Archon, even though we do not, or we do have Zealot leg upgrades. Here we go, Zealots now making their way in again. Medivacs trying to heal, but there is the GG. MMA loses this game to Sage here on Achillean Wastes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.